Hello everyone, thank you very much for being here at Egg Amsterdam today. My name is Romain Fouache. I've got a pretty thick French accent, so if at any point that stops you from understanding what I'm saying, don't hesitate to raise your hand and I'll do my best. I'm Chief Operating Officer here at... Wait until the slides. I'm Chief Operating Officer at Dataiku, and I'm going to cover a topic for you today, which is what is at stake with your data project's operationalization. So it obviously raises a first question, which is, what is operationalism? What is operationalization? Which is a fair question. Actually, I suspect that the reason for which I have been selected to give that pitch is not because I've had the chance and opportunity to work with many companies on their operationalization strategy, but because I actually managed to pronounce it properly, operationalization, so this is why they chose me to do it. But obviously the first question, apart from how do you pronounce operationalization, is what does that actually mean? So let's take a step back on data science. What is data science comprised of? There's the usual adage, the usual quote, that is to say a data science project is 80% data preparation, identifying your data, gathering it, preparing it, cleaning it, doing it again. 20% getting your model together. The fun part, which is the model, is only 20% of the 100% of the work. Once you've done that, your 80% of data preparation and your 20% of model training, what do you have? You basically have one thing, and that one thing is a very happy data scientist. And it's true, you've got a cool model. You've got this amazing Python script. You've trained things on a Spark. You've used TensorFlow, and you have a great data scientist that is very happy. However, this is a fairly different thing from having a successful organization actually getting value out of the model that has been trained. And why is that fairly different? It's because, yes, actually, taking a step back. How different is that? And there's an illustration to explain how different is that. And you know, people always try to take things back to ROI, to dollars, to euros, to whatever. So I'm going to talk about money and tell you a story of about 10 years ago. Netflix launched a grand prize to generate the best recommendation model ever. They actually offered a prize of $1 million to the team that would be able to generate the best recommendation model possible for the Netflix company. And so people worked on it for several years. So not only did the model cost $1 million in sheer price, but there were teams all over the world spending tremendous amount of time trying to generate the best model. So it's probably, in a sense, the most costly model that was ever produced, at least at the time. And the result is that a team won, was awarded the $1 million, and a couple of years later, Netflix had to admit that they had never used that model in production. There was never a single dollar of actual business impact from the model that had taken the time of so many people over the world and actually awarded someone $1 million, which is a pretty cool price. So why is that? And that is operationalization. What does that cover? Is that if we say that you have maybe 80% data preparation and 20% model training, then on top of that, you still need to add the refactoring and optimization of what you have done, transposing everything to your production environment, which may be completely different from where you've actually trained your model and you have your people work on, implementing the checks and metrics. Having a model is great. Having a model that you understand that is controlled and that operates within the boundaries from an IT, data, and business perspective is essential. You pile on that the retraining strategies, the test and documentation, the deployment, the operation, the maintenance, all of the things that I don't have enough room to place on that slide. And this is what we call operationalization. Operationalization is the 900% of the job that no one talks about when they talk about the 80% and the 20%, but that is what makes the difference between a data science project and an actual augmentation of the way people operate, make decisions. Operationalization. So now that we're a bit clearer as to what operationalization means, maybe we need a shorter word to be able to explain it. So at Dataiku, we have come to the conclusion that indeed operationalization was a bit difficult to say. So we use kind of a diminutive for it. Operationalization, there's 16 letters between the P and the O of operationalization. You add the O and the N at the end. You'll hear a lot data IQ people don't say operationalization because basically they can't, and say O16N instead. So I will use, for the rest of that presentation, O16N and operationalization in an interchangeable manner. Now you know actually why we say O16N, because for many people, you know, they hear us talk about O16N, they hear, yeah, okay, what is that exactly? And even when you say it's operationalization, okay, but why 16? So 16 letters between the O and the N, that's O16N. And I'm not going to talk only about the grammar of operationalization, because even though I think it's an interesting topic, might not be to all of you, I'm going to talk more specifically. We said what is at stake with your data project's operationalization. And from the brief introduction I gave you, I actually think I don't have the right title for the presentation. The right title for the presentation is more O16N, your data project at stake. Because the O16N, the operationalization, is what is going to change your data project from a cost center to an actual return on investment driving initiative. In my view, there are two main levels of operationalization. One is tactical O16N, the other one strategic O16N. The first one is the operationalization you do at your project level. There are many elements that you need to think of and that you need to drive when you're working on a project to make sure that you will succeed with the operationalization phase of your projects. Why do you need to anticipate that? It's because operationalization and design work on very different paradigms. When you're designing a model, when you want to build a $1 million prize Netflix model, the objective is designing the model itself. You're going to get your data, explore your data in order to facilitate exploration. You're going to try to get the best model performance, getting as much data as possible in it, exploring all of the features, exploring all of the cool technologies, and it's often going to be developed by your team or potentially, even more frequently, by an individual. So this is the paradigm of data science design. When you look at operationalization, the paradigm changed completely. When the objective is to take a model and to put it in production, it's more about operating a data flow than designing a model. It's not about facilitating exploration of the data and maximizing the amount of data, but it's optimizing the IT performance. So here you want to take as little data as possible, whereas in the design phase you wanted to take as much data as possible to train your model. And it's about maximizing robustness and the fact that it will continue to operate the way it needs to operate in the business environment against maximizing the performance of the model. And it's not an individual or a team topic anymore. It's actually an organizational topic. It's going to have an impact on IT. It's going to have an impact on business. And it's going to have an impact on the potentially tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of customers that are going to be involved with the decision of the models. So it's organizational based. So as you see here in that summary, at the project level, when you think operationalization, you need to think completely differently from the way you think about designing a model itself. Since it's on different teams, different systems, and different technologies, you need to embed your operational thoughts throughout the life cycle of your project. And if you look at it, it starts with the design phase. When you start thinking about the project itself, I had a very interesting discussion with one of our customers a couple of weeks back. He was explaining that when they start ideating, thinking about what could be done, so they come up with a few ideas. They start, back of the envelope calculation on whether it's something that they believe is makes sense to the cost to effort. And the other thing that they do is that they start drafting the macro data pipelines for that to work in production. There is no sense in starting designing a model that is going to use cool and fancy data if that cool and fancy data is not available in a reasonable manner in your production environment. So it means that as soon as you start devising your models, you should start thinking about how it's going to be operationalized. Because that's the only way to get a broad understanding of whether there is a chance to actually get the value out of the model that will be generated. And so it's about the macro pipelines, and the idea is not to develop it, it's not to go into the detail of it, but to have a high-level arbitration on what is the data that is available to me that I think will maximize the performance of the model, and what is the data that is reasonable to have in the production environment. And it's a trade-off between the two, because potentially some data is not available yet in production, but would bring so much benefits to the model and to the activity that it makes sense to try to have it there. Some other data will not justify such an effort. So thinking operationalization at the design stage is essential. At the validation stage, you've got a model. Should it go to production or not? Validation is a very important stage. And this is the stage where you need to think about implementing the validation criteria that will need to be enforced over time. If you have some criteria to validate a model today, the model may drift, the data may evolve. You need to define the criteria that will need to be able to be sustained over time of the life of the execution of your model. So defining alerting strategy and implementing the validation criteria is the key operationalization element when you get at the validation of your model. Deployment, of course, I mean, for a long time, people have perceived operationalization as being deploying an API, and that's great. You know, it's fantastic to have an API, but that's only a very tiny, tiny bit of the full of the complexity of operationalization, but it still is there. So deployment is making sure that you can not only deploy a model and whatever API is behind, but the full data flow that goes with it. How do you orchestrate the full of the preparation of the data that needs to enrich the query to the model, for instance, and implementing the checks and metrics that have been mentioned previously. And in run, so it's being able to operate at scale, being able to make sure that it's going to be up, being able to make sure that it performs. And in a data project, performance is not only up or down, like it used to be in some IT projects. It's about, indeed, things being up. It's about the data behaving the way it should behave. It's about the model behaving the way it should behave. It's about making sure that you're alerted and that you can retrain if things don't behave the way they should be. So this is basically what happens in terms of operationalization throughout the life of a project. What's the key elements, the key message on the tactical 16N level that I think we need to keep in mind is actually that we are always operationalizing. Operationalization is not by itself a later step of the process. Operationalization is a key element of the full process. And maybe it takes more of the attention in the end than at the beginning, but if you don't anticipate the operationalization of your project, you will end up with very happy data scientists. And I mean, great, it's great to be a happy data scientist, and I hope there are many of you that are happy data scientists, but maybe not as happy as they could be, because having a model is great. Having a model that has a significant impact on the way the company operates is even better. Always be operationalizing. That's lesson number 1. Now we look at a different level. We look at the strategic level of operationalization at the company level. It does sound a bit far-fetched, but the truth is that if we operationalize on each project, there are also some lessons and some elements that deserve to be transposed at the company level. And what is it that I'm talking about here? When we saw that earlier, model training, data preparation, and operationalization, you can see the amount of effort that is attached to each of these steps. To share some actual figures we've seen in some companies, basically this takes a few weeks, days, weeks, to get your models, actually to have something that is good enough to be able to benefit the company. This tends to take months. So operationalization in itself is actually the biggest limitation or the biggest element slowing down time from innovation to value. But it's not only about each project taking weeks and months, it's about doing that 1,000 times a year. The number of business processes, of decisions, of products that can be augmented with data is just tremendous in every company. The reason for which we focus on the 5, 10, 15 first is because of the time and the energy it takes to do it. Operationalization is the main element that is slowing down the ability of companies to leverage these elements. So the question is, how do you scale operationalization when you want to be able to deploy thousands of models, thousands of projects on a yearly basis? For me, operationalization is actually not a hindrance, but it's actually the enabler. And I see O16N as the main scaling differentiator when it's something that is thought as company level. One element that is fundamental to have successful O16N at the strategic level is automation. What are the elements of your operationalization cycle that you can automate? What are the tests that you can do automatically? How can you check which data can be available in production and you're going to be able to reuse? So it's potentially saving months each time you deploy a project. We have a customer at Dataiku who used to take 3 to 4 months to deploy each and every project. And by having a platform on which they built all of the screens and tests to be able to automate projects, they found out that there's 90% of the project that they can deploy in a matter of minutes or hours. Basically, they run the test, the data is available, the data is in production, the model has the proper checks and metrics in place, it has been validated by business, it can be put in production as it is. No need to spend 4 months to refactor everything, no need to spend 4 months to review everything, it can be used as is. And some projects, it's not that easy, it's going to take more time, but by automating as much as possible of the operationalization process, you're actually able to get that in production in a matter of weeks and not in a matter of months anymore. So you started from months of operationalization, whatever the project, and you end up with many projects that can be pushed into production in a matter of minutes or hours, and some more complex projects that still do deserve the specific energy, but you're talking about weeks and not months anymore. The second element around operationalization is governance. Governance of AI is, in my opinion, one of the biggest and emerging topics for this year and the following ones. We now have some fairly mature AI application, more and more companies using that. It has more and more of an impact, and it is actually very fragmented. It's not rare to see in large organizations dozens of teams using dozens of different tools from dozens of different data sources and using different ways to push their models in production. Governance is what will allow to reduce the risk at company level. And it's about being able to control what data, model, and projects are deployed. And governance is an intimate part of the operationalization process. Because if you check what is being done by whom and by when you put that into production, you can build your own governed view of your data initiatives. And the last part, and maybe the most important part, is reuse. If you know how to properly operationalize your projects, you know which components are components you trust in. You know which data is data you trust in. You know which model is data you trust in. It means that you will be able to confidently reuse whatever has been done there. And as we said before, you might have thousands of projects you want to deploy every year. And actually, there's probably more on that you would want, but very little that you actually can. The more you can build on the shoulders of giants, the more you can reuse whatever has been done by the teams in the past, and the more you'll actually be able to touch on these hundreds or thousands of projects to be delivered. So ultimately, setting up the operationalization strategy, framework, and process of a company is probably the main scaling factor of an organization when it comes to AI. If you put in place the proper framework for operationalization, you set yourself up for governance and reuse, which are the actual two elements that allow company scale deployments of AI and data science initiatives. I have a bit of an animation problem. So I was about to say we moved the title from what it was at the beginning to your data project at stake, but ultimately maybe even that is not the proper title for the presentation, because ultimately I think operationalization is your data project's key assets. And at a time where technology is moving so fast that you cannot capitalize on technology. 3 years ago, 6 years ago, you used Hadoop. 3 years ago, you used Spark. Today, you use Kubernetes. 3 years from now, who knows? Infrastructure technology is not something you can capitalize on. Data, 90% of the data in the world today didn't exist 2 years ago. You cannot capitalize on data itself. It's something that is changing so fast and so much that it's not possible. Skills, there was amazing data science technology 3 years ago, new technologies today, it's going to be new technologies 3 years from now. You cannot capitalize on sheer skills. What you can do is capitalize on your overall framework and processes around operationalization, because this is what is going to help you scale your effort at company scale. And so ultimately, to close the pitch, the reminders on the two main points in my opinion. The first one, it's always be operationalizing at whatever stage, at whatever moment you are in your data project. Think about how you're going to operationalize them, because if you wait for the end to do that, it's going to be too late, and you're going to end up with a very, very costly model and very little business value. And think of operationalization as the main governance and reuse driver. Thank you very much.